Sargi Chuna Sonji Chuna La Chanchu Panda Yandani Chapsa Dagi Jinso Yeme Sona Drola Penja Sangi Sargi Chudai Soni Chonai Chachu Pandandani Dagi Jinso Yeme Sona Drola Sargi Sargi Chuna Soni Chona Chanchu Pandandani Chapsa Dagi Jinso Yeme Sona Drola Penja Sangi Simche Deva Dhamba Mimdra Simche Dhamje Nyera Chada Nida Dhare Dhanyan Same Phala Neba Pima Keser Dombola Yamse Chonge Pho Shumba Eda Rana Mandala Kandaya Andaya Semje Namje Samban Hai Loi Shemja Cheta Chejo Demo Chunyi Korlo Kondo So Tamki Tuji Sajiri Sano Zanyi Matabde Jehun Jumba Serje Lambo Tawar Jibi Shaji Jarbu Sabla Kujan Zibi Janjun Choni Dan Tuji Long Tonya Medang Aya Nadro Number Vipiter Juji Ngundi Shurkur Dombin Honjin Time Ozer Sabla Kujan Sivja Gunjin Rola Jibzine Time Ozer Yam Chertuk Terenjo Ozer Lonche Namki Namjer Jingme Limbi Sabla Kushan Mari Sangin Charan Yang La Ser Kundo Zambu Monlam Number Jan Sivji Jarin Chunlin Zanzab Mipam Jamsu Sabla Kushan Pami Duxi Durjib Jumni Turbina Rolira Lambikar Matu Londari Bi Horjib Jingme Pinso Sabla Kushan Kamzun Korwa Don Junum Jimbe Sabjilam Yon Dentarchen Ba Nilu Ranger Tombe Narjur Yeshi Wamchu Sabla Kushan Konzandur Simgarab Shirasan Pemakara Jimbang Nyushunga Sozur Namnya Tirtun Jarsas Kadir Lama Namla Kushan Kandab Chochu Dongunji Dina Desel Humar Jurwa Kansata Tandur Tumbi Shuji Shermbim Simbrando Badila Tamchen Dursashi Namo Arya Tambal Hai Kedan Ladanu Jinke Trum Dadami Kenam Dan Rua Kunyi Jake Chizam Tamche Ket Chujan Tujur Chi. Okay, so again, prayer on English, the second page, 3 times. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness in the causes of happiness. May all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that kept some close and the other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that kept some close and the other distant. Okay, so now we are going to explanations about the 37 practice, the part of Bodhisattvas. So this teaching we can divide into three outlines: the virtues of being, the virtues of actual, the virtues of the end. So we have gone the first virtues. Now we're going on the virtues of the actual part, and then this actual part again we can division into these three stages, which is the preliminary practice, actual practice, and the conclusion practice. So we have gone the first section. So now we are going on the second, the actual practice, the part of Bodhisattvas. So these again we can divide it into three levels, which is the part of smaller beings, part of middling beings, and part of great beings, the practice part of Bodhisattvas. So we have gone the first section. So we now are going on the first two, and now we're going on the third section and the part of great beings. And then part of great beings again we can divide into there's two different stages, which is the cultivating mind of enlightenment or generation bodhicitta mind, and the practice of bodhicitta mind. So we have gone the first section. So now we're going on the practice of the part of Bodhisattvas. So on the practice Bodhisattvas mind again we can divide into there's two stages, which is according to the conventional bodhicitta mind and according to the ultimate bodhicitta mind. So we are going on the first stages, according to the conventional bodhicitta mind practice. So these conventional bodhicitta mind practice again we can divide it into there's two different stages: the equipoise meditatum concentration and the post meditation or post practice of the conventional bodhicitta. So we have gone the first section. Now we're going on the second stages, the post practice of conventional bodhicitta mind. And this second again we can divide into there's four stages. So we have gone the first two stages. So today we are now going on the third sections from the verse 18th. So these the third aspect of these four stages conventional bodhicitta, when there appears the unfavorable conditions for your practice, how we training into the towards to the your part of the Mahayana, the Bodhisattvas. So, and these on the third section again we can divide into there's two different aspects. One is when you have the problem of the failure, or means is a downfall of your situations falling down, and then how can you transfer into this is your practice. And when you become very the success of your situation, then how can transform into your practice, the two. So we're going now the first part from this verse of the 18th. Let's check now. Though gripped by property and always scorned, though stricken by acute illness and possessed by the evil spirit, to take upon yourself the negativities and suffering of every being, and never to get discouraged, is the practice of a bodhisattva. So, here, the Mahayana tradition followers or somebody with the generated the bodhichitta mind, the vows, and then in the way when you're going to practice, then happened some problems, the obstacles further, the manifold of the obstacles further continuously, then how we can to bear, how can we transfer these obstacles into the how can bring into the thoughts of your practice. For example, here we are very poor. The possessions very low. Your possessions very poor. It's become like beggar. The situation, and then is suffering with this. But not only the problems here is grabbed by the property, but on this. As another problems is always is looking down for you or look insult to you from other peoples because you are very poor or something like beggars. So therefore other people are always looking down us on top of these first problems, So and then that is the second aspect, the problems, the second fault, the problems. And then not only these two, but on top of these problems, the third, fourth, the problems arising on this. Here, the second better, acute illness, very unpleasant. You get the disease or the sick or ill, on top of these first two, the problems, the faults, and the third. And then it's not only that, but on top of these third problems, the acute of the illness and possessed by the evil spirit, even is a harming by the of a harmful spirit, or the harming the nagas or gods, demons, or so forth. So boring you many the obstacles further continuously. And then very difficult to bear at the moment, very hard to patience, very hard to keep your compassion and loving kindness, the generation bodhichitta mind, because we have very big problems for physical and your mental, both physically and mentally had many problems, So that is very the danger to can be the loss. Or can be broken, can be the broke of the Bodhisattvas vows, or can be discouraged. Will be discouraged of your confidence. Is a danger because you are very weak, very problem, and then you are very upset, very angry, or very despondent, very sadness feeling, or something. Very low of your confidence. So you are very lonely. Next feeling in that moment, if you are the Mahayana Bodhisattva practitioners, what we could do here, say, to take upon yourself the negativities and sufferings of every being, and never to get discouraged, is the practice of Bodhisattva. So, on top of these problems, because how we can to take upon yourself the negativities and sufferings of every being, because you feel the moments is even we hard to bear about that we already experienced now things, then on top is enough to add the problems more. So but the reason is because why you have poor practice, why you have become the property, why you get something is people looking to you, look insult to you. Why? And why you on top is get ill and sick? Why? And why harming better of a harmful spread for you? This all is the direct cause. We can see about that problems from them, but indirect, the actual, the causes comes from our previous misdeed action, misdeed karma. Because if you have not the misdeed this kind of karma and previous, and there's no possible automatically and causelessly, no possible, cannot experience causelessly automatically about these problems. Thus Buddha taught, the karma not accumulated will not be experienced, and the karma committed will not be dissipated. Sooner or later, sure, 100% will be experiencing. So therefore, we have already karma committed, like such negative karma committed since from long time maybe. So, and this life is completed the needed unfavorable conditions from seed, and then the seedlings repent here, fully repent. So therefore, that problems not only from those, the direct cause, that is just conditions in the moment, but the main actual the cause is the misdeed, or one's own misdeed or previous action. So we need to recognize the natural law of cause and effect. We need to remember about these problems from one's own misdeed, previous. So if this time again, if you angry, again if you something is very, the aversion or jealous or so forth, kind of like something as a negative emotion, if you very, then it's again is continuously coming the collection of negative karma on top of this suffering, and then more and more suffering and more weak your heart and problems. So therefore, now we need to thinking like same Tonglen meditation or giving and taking meditation. So because the fourfold, the different kind of the stage of the problems is that's coming because it's the cause and conditions completed. So you cannot change, you cannot stop at the moment. That's the fully the situation, bad situation appears the fully repent result. That's already fully repent. So fully repent is cannot return back, no possible. But one there's an opportunity chance you to know you can do how to purification about such negatives easily. How can you to collective merits, the large collection, how can you can do the collection, the merits are very large, and the skillful shortcut way to Buddhahood for. Because you need to generate your courage is more strong. You need to generate the self-confidence is more higher, and with these problems. So this is the point. May I wish this experiencing of suffering, the poor or the sickness or the destroy for me or other the spread, those all is representative to other mother sentient beings, sick, ill, poor, or the obstacles, the problems, experiencing. So just with very strong wish deeply from your heart, that dedicate of your problems is the representing to other sentient beings. Just you experiencing of the sufferings could be representation to other mother sentient beings suffering. So because we are the Mahayana practitioners, our main motivation, we attitude benefit other sentient beings without any hesitation, one's own self. So therefore, and today if I have these problems, but my problems have meaning. Since beginning last time, I have meaningless was experienced so many obstacles, so many problems, But these moments I had opportunity to meet holy teaching, and I have the opportunity to receive the Bodhisattvas vow, and I generated mind of enlightenment. I have opportunity chance to benefit other mother sentient beings. So therefore, this problem is not real problem. That is the opportunity to collection merits with patience, with tolerance, for benefit sentient beings. So therefore, my problems representing to all other sentient beings problems. If you can generate like this kind of courage, motivation, and that is very, very skillful, powerful, method for collection merits, for purifications, and for remove such obstacles, then even physically you have sick, physically you have pain, but mentally you very satisfaction, it's a very satisfaction or very comfortable, a very peace, your mental. That is the method here. Everything, and never to get discouraged. Bodhisattva's vow is the practice of Bodhisattva. That's one. When the problem, then very big problems, then how can you to bear, or how can transfer into that the way of your practice? That's one aspect. And now next, the second aspect, the opposite of the aspect, means is when you have become very fame or very rich or something, is the elevated position is very high. If you are the Dharma practitioners, if you are the Bodhisattva path followers, then still or danger if you don't know how to bear about this, because to lose your bodhichitta mind, by the negative emotion of pride or the negative emotion of arrogance appears and then destroy your the Bodhisattva's compassion and love. Is a danger, it's a danger. So therefore, is when you have these problems, and then how you bring into the of your practice this. So let's check now the verse 19th. That says, the famous and prominent, someone to whom other bow, though you amass the rich like that of the God of wealth, to see that worldly slander has not essence, and those to be without arrogance is the practice of a Bodhisattva. So you are very become famous, some recently, very fame, you are the famous become, and not only that qualities, and on top is another's, you are prominent, someone to, therefore the someone to whom the other bow or worship you or respect you, honor you, or something is their precision to you or praise to you, so forth, many, because you are fame, you become very famous, so on, so, and then and also on top the other qualities you have good things is though you amass the riches like that of the God of wealth, especially the one God of the desire realm. We can say there's the Besharma gold. Gold is very, something says is very rich, but anyway, so you have become very like that God. It's very much rich, and so you have manifold the fold of the qualities, and then what is your feel? But sometimes as the problems is you have to very feel the emotions, because your confidence is not very logical, very reasoning, but can't like confidence, but it's not real confidence. Can't like that is courage, but not real courage. That is pride. We say in Dharma way we can say pride or arrogant. So arrogance and pride is a negative emotion. And confidence and courage is not necessarily always a negative emotion, because courage, the self-confidence and highest courage comes from arising from the logical and the perfect logic and perfect reasoning with the wisdom mind. But the pride and arrogance is without logic and without reasoning, but it comes from ignorance. That is why it's a negative emotion. We need to generate courage, and we need to generate with confidence, but we need to avoid arrogance and the pride if you are Dharma practitioners. So here, to see that worldly, so now, because that means is then you have feel as you looking down other people's, you look insult to be insult to other people's. You feel you are the something the best one. You are from the boss of the all the peoples, or something like you are like king, you are like queen like something is very powerful, something you feel. That is fine, but as you have becoming the arrogance, the pride, and looking down other peoples, you doesn't care others, something like this, insult to others. This is a negative, comes from the pride and arrogance, So if you're doing that way, and then you lose your actual part of the aspect of the Bodhisattvas path, you also danger to will be broke of your the Bodhisattvas vow. It's very dangerous because Bodhisattva practitioners, ours is the conduct is of course non-violence, but is a humbly, very humble way. You're not going to practice respect equally to all other beings. But if you have pride, arrogance, that is the opposite of respect. That's the opposite of the humble action. So this is the problem coming. So in this way, how now we can to control about this kind of emotion here, to see that worldly slander has no essence, no meaning. The worldly, the modern of the positions, the fame, extra, those have no meaning, no essence. Because why? Including by the compounded phenomena. So therefore, that is the worldly, the fame is the changeable object, or the elevated positions of worldly, everything is like changeable object. It's an impermanent object. That's an impermanent object. So could be this year is a very famous, very rich, very high elevated positions, but can change just immediate next year is completely is falling down, fall down of all these, the elevated positions can be. There's no certainty. So there's therefore no reason appears the pride, negative emotion, and the arrogance. There's no reason. There's no logic. Everybody can be sometimes like this rich, but everybody can lose sometimes like that poor in the first problems. Everybody had already experienced the same like this, the fame, the others, the bow, and from of the rich like this, like God like this. We had already, each beings, everybody already reached like this kind of high level stages in the during past life, past time. It's happened. But after that, they are also as falling in the hungry ghost realms, animal realms, or the hell realms, so on. So, because that is the circulation of the samsara, we are born sometimes in the bottom and the hell realm, sometimes we are born in the peak of existence, So there's no certainty place. Ours is changeable. So therefore, why we have the arrogance, why we have with the emotion of the pride? There's no logic, no reason. That's not only you, not only me, but everybody could be like these stages high, but one day everybody can be lost. These stages, because impermanence, that does happen because this is samsara. So therefore, there's no reason to be like this arrogance and the pride for this reason. So it must be you can happy, you can enjoy about your possessions, your elevators, and the fame or extra, but humbly to share these to your good things is to dedicate other sentient beings. Humbly and respectfully to do benefit other sentient beings with this opportunity, chance, your reach, your fame, your elevated, the high elevated, the positions extra. That means is then you have arising self-confidence and the courage, highest courage. This we need to protect your confidence and your courage, but we don't need the arrogance and the pride. If with this arrogance and pride, then is you danger to lose your part of the Mahayana practice. So that's one is the practice of a Bodhisattva. And then the fourth aspect of this, the better conditions training in towards to your practice of according to the commission of bodhichitta, the last aspect. So from the verse 20th, again, or this the fourth aspect, again we can divide into, there's two different aspects. One is how you training the unfavorable conditions, the object of attachment, and unfavorable conditions of the object of anger, the aversionment, when appears, how you bring into the part of your dharma. So we're going now the first one, the aspect, object of attachment, how you bring into the of your Mahayana practice. So this is from the verse of 20th. Let's we check what they say. Or not attachment, sorry. This is the object of anger, the object of aversion, and the first part first, the second is coming. So now let's check what they say. The 20th. If you have not pacified the enemy of your own anger, combating utter opponents will only make them multiply. So therefore, with an army of loving kindness and compassion, to tame your own mind is the practice of a bodhisattva. So, if you have the not pacified the enemy of your own anger, because normally, ordinary people, we recognize our enemies from outside, comes from. But we can't recognize the inner enemy, our inner enemy. So therefore, everybody try to control the outer enemy. Everybody try to destroy, to find the way how to destroy the outer external enemy. Use many different methods, weapons, poisons, or so forth. So many different ways to try fighting to control the outer enemy. But actually, that is not the best way to training our enemies. Because here say, combating outer opponents will only make them multiply. Because if you with very angry and with very jealous or something very harmful thought, harming mind, and try to kill or try to beat or try to shoot or try to control or try to destroy of your outer enemy. But not easy that like much to control others. Maybe they control you, maybe they kill you. But sometimes if you have strong power, something is then is possible. Maybe you can kill even. But it does not mean you have destroyed your enemies, because your enemies become more. First, there's one enemy, outer enemy, one person. Then finally, maybe even you can kill this, but this person is not very the lonely one person. That is not one single alone, because this person have relative to other parents, brother, sisters, or children, or grandchildren, or something, the friend, so forth. They have. So therefore, if you kill this one, and then after that situation, then you have more. Maybe it's 2, 3, 4, 5 enemies, more danger. That is the multiply. So the first World War, the Second World War started very beginnings. Few people fighting each other, few people start to kill each others. And then it's become more, and then finally it's the World War. It's millions of people dead and killed each others. So that is a multiply, means that because they misunderstand and they missed it, how to control how destroy the external enemies. They mistake. That's not logical actually. So this is the happened problem. So if you really want to freedom from any kind of enemies, no matter outer or inner, if you really want to become very peaceful, and then here, therefore, with an army of loving kindness and compassion, don't use the army of normal soldier. Do not use a normal weapon. Even the atomic bomb or nuclear weapons, very powerful. This is the most powerful as the atomic bomb. But still, if you use atomic bombs, you cannot control your enemies. Can multiply more, So it's more danger, everybody. So therefore, if you want to control over the outer, inner, real, the actual enemies, and then you use one's own, the army of love, and the army of kindness, and the army of the compassion, that is a real, actual, most powerful army and most powerful weapon. The compassion and love is more powerful than even atomic bomb, because if you use your compassion and love from deep of your heart, you can control so many enemies, become your friend, become peace, family peace, the village peace, the town, the city, and the country peace, and finally the world peace is possible. If possible, everybody can generate of the loving kindness each other, compassion each other, then is 100% clear logically, and the world peace is coming will be. But unfortunately, it's 80% and 90% more than that doesn't use the weapon, the army of loving kindness and the compassions, and the more than 80 and 90% they like to use weapons, or the real weapons, poisons, or the atomic bombs, so forth. Therefore, we have no chance. Moments the world peace. This is the problem. It's very logical, So anyway, no matter you can guarantee to world peace or not, but yourself you must need to guarantee, because you are Mahayana Bodhisattva and Dharma practitioners. As the non-violence conduct, the view, meditation is compassion, loving kindness. The conduct is non-violence. So your non-violence conduct is focus, the cultivating your mind on the loving kindness and compassion. That is only the way, So this is Bodhisattva's specific the motivations, So therefore, with an army of loving kindness and compassion, to tame your own mind, to tame one's own inner enemy, which is anger. That is the anger, desire, attachment, ignorant, harmful thought, harming mind, jealous mind. This all is a negative emotion, is our inner enemy. This because the inner enemy can hurt directly your heart, can destroy your peace, inner peace, and then it can destroy your family peace. These three poisons can destroy your neighborhood, so forth. I mentioned it before. Finally destroy everything, your this life and your future life. Even the outer enemies actually is a danger. It's not nice, but not like that problem than of your inner enemy, because the inner enemy can leading into even the hell realms and hungry ghost realms, animal realms. They bring us into suffering. But the external enemies even is very powerful, but they cannot bring us into the hell realms. Not possible. If you have yourself good karma, and then outer enemies, they cannot bring you cannot throw into the hell realm. Not possible. But our inner enemy, the three poisons, can lead us into even the hell realms. So there's more danger. So anyway, the inner enemy, the three poisons, you cannot destroy better weapons. Even atomic bomb cannot destroy the anger, desire, attachment. Not possible. So only is the options, the compassion and love, and the pure motivation. That is the red antidote, or the red weapons. So those Bodhisattva Mahayana tradition followers should be to recognize which is a necessary engagement object to controlling of these enemies, and which is a necessary abandonment object to controlling about this. So to tame your own mind is the practice of a Bodhisattva. And then that is one. And the next, the second aspect, the better conditions when they appear the object of attachment or the object of desire. And then if there's problem your practice, then how can bring into this object of attachment towards to the way of path Bodhisattvas, or the Dharma way, Dharma practice. So let's check now. It's from the verse of 21st. The sensual pleasures are like salt water. the more you partake of them, and the more your craving will increase. Therefore, then something arouses attachment to abandon it immediately is the practice of a bodhisattva. So, the sensual pleasures are like salt water. The external five sense source pleasures, maybe sensual pleasures of form, sound, smell, taste, and tactile sensations, extra, so forth. These many different kind of aspects of the external, the sensual pleasures we can experiencing, But if you only chasing about the external pleasures object, then your desire cannot be end. Your desire is grow up increasing into endlessly. So as long as you have no end of your desire or your craving, and that means is you will never satisfaction. You will never achievement state of the satisfaction with enjoyment of these the sensual pleasures, external sensual pleasures. If as long as you will never be satisfaction about the enjoyment of these pleasures, that means is you are suffering always. Because suffering means is I want more. I'm not satisfaction. I'm not yet, as fulfilled my mind. I'm not. So this is the means is you need more. So therefore you hope, wish, fear, worry is there. Like salty water, when you very thirsty, the sunny day or something is very and then have no water, the pure. But only maybe you found salty water and the salt water. But if you drink more, and then you will be more thirsty. Your thirst is more, the feeling is more strong because your water is not pure, your water is salt. So there come is more, more thirsty. This is the problem. So similar, likewise, is if you cannot control, if you cannot be the content about the enjoyment object, then is your attachment, your craving, your desire is also grow up endlessly. That means is same time your sufferings grow up, the problems. So the more you partake of them, and the more your craving will increase. Therefore, we need to understand from this logic, from this reason. And therefore, when something arises, attachment, no matter is what kind of attachment object from sound, smell, taste, tactile, but any kind of something, the sensual pleasures bring some attachment, and that moment's very beginning, try to control. It's more easy, then become more familiarity and more habituated experiencing about these pleasures. So when something arouses attachment, means it's very start beginning. That times is if you can to be content, then easy to control of your desire, easy to control your attachment, easy to control of your craving. That means is you have less suffering, You have more easy to satisfaction, achievement. You easy to fulfill. Simple. You can live very simply, So that is actually its ultimate reach. Who is the real rich? Who is real the poor? And normally you can say, oh, this is very easy. The beggar, like that's only maybe some is the peoples, they have enough food and the filled stomachs and enough wearing the warm clothes, but have not much possessions, things. That is poor. And some we can see is they have hundreds, thousands, billions, the money or the dollars they have collected already and it belongs to them. That should be rich. That is our ordinary people's perception. That is not logical, not reasoning. Sounds is true, looks and the moments if you not research. But if you research but the perfect logic, perfect reasoning, if you check, then you can clearly see that is not point. Then who is the real rich? Who is real poor?
somebody whom already satisfaction what they have at the moment, what they themselves what they have. Say, oh, I'm happy, I'm enjoying, I like this country, I like this place, I like my family, I like my job, I like it means I enough what I have now, everything. I'm very happy, I'm very satisfaction, I'm really it's fulfill my heart something. That is ultimate reach. Because he or she says they have enough. They have satisfaction. So that is the reach, the sign, the ultimate reach. They have no worry, no nerves, no fear, no panic. It's completely comfortable. That means is they are rich. The ultimate, that is the point, ultimate reach. And the other one, if you ask, have you completely achievement the satisfaction feeling, satisfied? Have you fulfilled completely about what you have belongs to you now, your friend, your country, your money, your welfares, extra, so forth, your elevated positions? If they say no, not yet, I need more, I want more, I need to reach the more higher something, that means is this person, no matter you have belongs to how much, but even you are very luxurious place, you sit there and place or palace, but still you are poor. Ultimately you are still poor. You are not ultimately rich. Because you say not enough. You says not enough. You says you have not satisfaction yet. You have not satisfaction. You says you need more. So the other one says they have enough. You says not enough. So therefore you are poor. That means still poor. Because you have not enough. What you need it. The other one says they have enough what needed. That is so important to be content, simple way. Of course, we have physical body. We need to feed this stomach. We need to make wearing the warm cloth because we have physical body. Sure, but it must be to be content with if enough needed. Needed means is what we need to take care of this body. If you have this enough, then that is the to be content means. Otherwise, as people, we have 2 feet, but we have 100 shoes. That is not needed, actually, So that is the problem. So therefore, when something arouse attachment, to abandon it immediately is the practice of a Bodhisattvas. And then next now, so we have gone the generation bodhicitta of the convention bodhicitta month, determined all. So now is we go to in the second section, the root lines, the outlines, which is the ultimate bodhicitta. So we mentioned before the conventional bodhicitta month. So now we're going to the practice of the ultimate bodhicitta from here. Start. So again, this ultimate bodhicitta practice we can divide into there's two levels, 2 stages. One is equipose meditative concentration of ultimate bodhicitta, and one is the post practice of the convention, the ultimate bodhicitta. So first one now is from the 22nd, the verse 22nd. What it says we check now. All the appearances are your own mind, and mind itself primordially transcends all mental fabrications. Knowing this and remain free from apprehending the science of subject and object is the practice of a bodhisattva. So here all appearances are your own mind. Because why? Normally, ordinary people, we believe very much substantially existent of all the appearances are inherently. That is our ordinary people's perception. But if you go to follow the perfect logic, perfect reasoning, research about these appearances are truly existent or not, actually not truly existent. Because all the appearances are originated by the interdependently. That is very clear. Cannot appearances independently, even one single atom, no possible. So, if necessarily the appearances necessarily to depend each others, that means there's no self grasping. There's no self. What's it? The essence. No self essence. It's selfless. Actually, the essence is selflessness. Not truly existent. Like illusion, appearances are like illusion, like dream, like the rainbow-light, like appearances, because originated by interdependently. That's not true. But still you can see it looks like true. That is our mind. Like in the dream, you can see all appearances are something is substantially existent, or the external object is separately existent from your heart. But actually that is not true. That's the object of dream. So your object of dream is only your mind. But still you feel there's two different outer and inner, subject and object. That is misconception. That is our misunderstanding. That is ignorant. Same is these, the normal, general, the appearances are only our mind. Because that comes from the dualistic grasping. Profound, these phenomena are dualistic grasping mind. Because we had experienced the imprint of this dualistic grasping comes from beginningless time and samsara. Always we have these two dualistic grasping between the persevere and the object of the persevere, or means between the subject and the object of ours, we have distinguished in a different way. We have very strong the imprint stored on your mind. So therefore, as long as you have no chance to recognize true nature of selflessness, self, and then you cannot stop these two dualistic grasping. But actually not true. That is only your mind, one's own mind. Appearances are your own mind. And mind itself, we can say very invariably that this is like kind of the emptiness of Madhyamika teachings. For example, this horse. We say horse is the appearances, the object of a horse, truly existent inherently. That is our normal, ordinary people's perception, ordinary people's recognition. And here is the point meaning is now the horse is not true. Horse is only your mind. Horse not truly existent inherently. That just appears on your mind, from your mind, but interdependently. Because horse, if you follow logic, you can find where is the horse, which one. If we check from each part of the horse, window, door, floor, ceiling, wall, all is that is not a house. That is the window. That is not a house. That is a door, but not a house. And that is a floor, but not a house. If you say floor is a house, window is a house, door is a house, and then there's many houses, it's a contradictory. That's contradictory, not true. Door is as door, that not a house. You can buy, you can seal the door, but you cannot buy, you cannot seal on the the house on the door. No possible. So if you take all the part of the pieces of the house, the windows or the extra, so forth, then where is left the house? There's no. But still you can say all collected and they performed something facts, the different shapes, and then we say that's the house. Okay, you can say that's the imputation house, the imputation object of a house. That not substantially existent house there. That is like illusion. The house is like magic elephant, same magic house. Better interdependently appears. And then maybe you say house not true, but the part of a house is truly existent. No, that also only your mind. Because, for example, the wall of the house. Because the wall is not truly existent, inherently. Just imputedly can existent, because the wall is an imputation to of many pieces again, which is many pieces. The bricks, so many bricks, they fell together, and then you can see the wall. The wall is not true, just illusion, like magic wall. So only the brick is the fundamental bricks. Same. And then you said the bricks truly existent now. The brick also you can destroy. You can make many pieces of the one brick. Means is the so many billions of the sand, the dusty or the sand, the ground, tiny atoms or the particles collected comes this one brick, So you can destroy into the of atoms. So therefore the brick is just imputation, imputatively existent, but not substantially existent, cannot. Like magic. Totally same like magic. And then further you destroy, finally what you found maybe is one atom. Atom is maybe you can say as the particles, is the fundamental of this earth or this house. But this is also not true. The atom also could be that's only your mind. Because independently exist, and the dependently existent, interdependently existent, the atom, but cannot exist independently. Even the materiality, the scientist, the science, they also can recognize that is the interdependently existent, the quark, the atom, the particles, not independently existent, cannot exist independently. Not possible. Depend each other of the proton, neutron, electrons, or so forth. Even the whip, the energy of the vibration, or something is the energy, interdependent. So otherwise cannot found any the foundations finally. So the energies now is depend on your mind. That also is the quantum physics systems. They understand is only mind, finally. Without mind, you cannot recognize the energy, the fundamental of the world. Somebody's mind is there, and then it can be focused on this energy of the fundamental of the earth, or the universe, the galaxies, So the quantum physics, system is similar here. The recognize better on the quantum physics streams, what the explanations is very, very close to understand like only mind school. So however, so many logics, so many reasoning, and the sense beginning is you hear this is unbelievable, but the end is that's very true. So anyway, all appearances are your own mind. And then what happened? Mind is up primordially transcends all mental fabrications. Only the performing better of your perception, better your recognition, better your concepts, or better your the liberation mind. That is, So knowing this, and because means no object, no subject. Phenomena originated by the mind, but mind itself is also finally is empty nature, like illusion. Because if there's no subject, no object, and no possible itself of alone subject, If there's no subject, itself inherently cannot exist, and then there's no possible object inherently. These both is also interdependently, finally. So therefore illusion. Nature, emptiness is, the nature is emptiness. Nature is emptiness. So knowing this and to remain free from apprehending the science of subject and object, both. Without subject, without object, that is emptiness. But that emptiness does not mean nothingness completely. That's different. Does not mean that emptiness is like empty space. So these object, what we're talking about, the emptiness is beyond the Dharma sphere. This Dharma sphere or Dharma Dhartu, this nature is, Dharma sphere is beyond, this object is beyond of ordinary people's perception. That only can be object of, the aspect object of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas during the Ikupos meditative concentrations. Because the true nature of the phenomena are, we can say, inexperienced object, non-dual object, not being an object of logicians, and single object, single test object, or signlessness object. That is the reality, the definition or the characteristics of the true nature, Dharma sphere. So that's why beyond ordinary people's perception. So, and when you cultivating mind of ultimate bodhicitta mind, the actual ultimate bodhicitta mind means is when you will be realization better your primordial wisdom mind to the of focus on the enter into the of this Dharma sphere, the non-dualistic, the true nature. That is the ultimate bodhicitta, actually. So, and that moment when you want Ikupos meditation concentration about of this ultimate bodhicitta, and that is you have must be is your concept is freedom from any extremes of existent, non-existent, both existent, and neither nor non-existent. This all is something including of your perception or some kind of your liberation aspect of kind of the liberation mind, So have no freedom from the percepts. But when you completely free your aspect, your perception is free from the aspect of these four extremes, four kind of different extremes. That is your wisdom, primordial wisdom, to reach the realization, the true Dharma sphere, the emptiness. So, which primordial wisdom mind to experience things of the realities, freedom from the four extremes, which is not existent, not non-existent, not both existent, and not neither nor non-existent. That is the primordial wisdom, subject and object, but that is beyond ordinary people's perception. That is the primordial wisdom mind, object and the subject, So this is the ultimate bodhicitta. So therefore, since we are very ordinary, enter into the path of accumulation, and during the path of preparation, we still must be try to learning, studying, even we try to meditation of the ultimate bodhicitta. But you cannot meditate the actual of the ultimate bodhicitta, but you can meditation with the generality aspect of generality meaning of this ultimate bodhicitta, from hearing wisdom, contemplation wisdom, and the meditation wisdom. If you can focus on the generality of this, the reflection of the actual bodhicitta mind, and then you gradually will be achievement state, the third path of the five, path of seeing. When you will be reached in the path of seeing, that means is very beginning during the accumulation, during the path of preparation, you have conviction with the hearing and contemplation of this emptiness, but you have not so much the convictions of the meditation wisdom. But still you can meditate the generality meaning, what you understand from hearing and contemplation of the emptiness. But these become more familiarity and more habituated. And then will be one day you realize that first you need to understand clearly, and then on top you will be experiencing about this generality meaning, and the end you will be to realization, true nature, emptiness, selflessness of phenomena, better your wisdom. That means is you are become part of seeing achievements. You have become the ordinary, transferring into the of extraordinary or first bhumi achievements, first ground of bodhisattva. Ordinary become bodhisattva. That moment is you can generate the actual bodhicitta mind, the ultimate ultimate bodhicitta mind. So anyway, so this subject is very deep actually. So however, science of subject and object is the practice of bodhisattva. And then next, the second section, which is during the post practice of this ultimate bodhicitta. Again, we can divide into there's two different aspects, the two stages. So first stage from 23rd, the verse 23rd. What that says, we check now. When you reach or meeting of very the pleasures object, and then how to control of the attachment. Here we're talking because according to the ultimate bodhicitta, we mentioned before and previously that is according to the conventional bodhicitta, how to control the attachment and the aversion mind. But here is the method is different. Object is the same, the attachment and the aversion is same. Aversion and object is same before. But how to control, how to antidote, the method is different. What we use the method is according to the conventional bodhicitta method. But here is we going again is because but the antidote is the method is from according to the ultimate bodhicitta. That is the point how you distinguish the first and this aspect here. Now let's check the object of attachment, how bring into the of your practice. When you encounter object the pleasure, your mind like rainbows in the summer season, though the same beautiful, not to view them as real, and to give up attachment to them is the practice of a bodhisattva. So, for example, when you encounter the object that very pleasure, very please your mind, and then how can you control of this enjoyment, this attachment, this desire? Say, you need to remember, you need to do recognize, should be to remember the essence of this pleasure's object. What is the essence of the pleasure's object? Emptiness. The nature of this pleasure's object is emptiness. But still appears there clearly because originated by the interdependently. So, like dream object, like object magician's object, like rainbows in the summer season, because appears very clear, beautiful, colorful, multicolor, colorful. But if you want to touch, you want to collect it, the rainbows, it's not possible. It's totally there's nothing. It's empty. When you go to touch, contact, you cannot. In the dream, is many things you can experiencing is very pleasures, but if you want to collect this, it's empty. When you saw the magic's elephant or horses, very beautiful things, but you cannot buy because they have no existence, but just illusion. So like this, you need to understand, you need to remember the reality essence, the nature itself. It's empty, appearance as illusion, illusory. So first you need to understand, and second you need to experience, and the third you need to realization about this. Then gradually you will be less and less your attachment, desire, or craving to such pleasures object. You can enough small desire, and you can control but you can to be content small desire and small attachment. Okay, so though, okay, so not to view them as real, because if you to view them as real, that is ordinary people's wrong perception. Then you cannot control your attachment, your desire. I mentioned you before, and then problem is the endlessly your desires grow up. Then sufferings endlessly grow up. That means. So therefore, to not be this is real, you know, not to be the view them as real, like dream. When you to be as the view them as real, and then is you have good dream, as it means a pleasures dream, pleasant positive dream, then you have very attachment desire. When you have experiencing bad dream, and then if you to be view them as the real, and then you are very suffering. But somebody you want to calm down, you want to relax, no matter good dream or bad dream, but you want to freedom from the attachment and the aversion mind both. You want to very relaxation way. Then is the method is you must be need to recognize dream is as dream. That is only possibilities. Otherwise, as long as you can't recognize dream as dream, and then you can, you to views them are true and real, your dream, and then you are suffering if bad dream, you know. If some pleasures, then you have grow up your attachment, desire, stare, worry, and panic, so forth. Sufferings there. Same. To give up attachment to them. Just immediately to remember them. So is the practice of a bodhisattva. Okay. And then that's the first one. And now the second aspect of doing the post practice of the ultimate bodhi, according to the ultimate bodhicitta. Again, there's also two difference. So, oh no, it's only one. Sorry, this is the second. So not with the object of attachment, how to control. I mentioned to you. So now the object of aversionment. Then, but the point is similar. Here again, but the object is different. One is attachment, one is the aversionment or the anger. So from the 24th, the verse of 24th, what this is. All suffering is like the death of your child in the dream. To take such delusive appearances as true, how exhausting. Therefore, whenever you encounter unpleasant circumstances, to see them as deceptions is the practice of bodhisattva. So, for example, all sufferings we could be experiencing so many various different kind of aspects of sufferings, but all suffering is like the death of your child in the dream. That's the example. Because in the dream, the mother very strong desire want to get son and child, and finally she found she had birth of the son or daughter, or no matter what the child she happy very much in the dream, but then later after she lost her children, her child dead. Then she very much disappointed and regret and sadness and feeling uncomfortable and suffering and cry and yelling. Then why they are suffering now? How can you support to avoid this suffering? To take such delusive appearances as true, that is the problem. Because she was believed she become the pregnancy, she was believed and then is born, giving birth, and she believed so she had she has the children, so she happy. This all was mistake, totally was wrong perception, because she believed that's true, and therefore the end she believed very much is the death. It's the death, the death of her son or daughter. Therefore she very pain, suffer. So in this case, how can stop? It's not possible. If you're thinking like this wrong perception, then you cannot stop your suffering in the moments. This is how the exhausting suffering, the problems. So therefore, whenever you encounter the unpleasant circumstances, to see them as deceptions. To see them deception means is illusion. To recognize illusion is as illusion. To recognize emptiness is as emptiness. To recognize that is magic. Dream is as dream. So therefore, that is a very sense you get the pregnancy. That moment you must be recognized. That is a deception. But you was trust that you are happy. That is a deception. You mistake. So therefore, that beginning start to the deception. Object is there. So they will be deceiving you because finally that's not true. Everything's illusion, but still you feel suffering very much. So therefore, to see them as deceptions is the practice of Bodhisattva. Because this comes from the ultimate bodhicitta. But during the post, walking, sleeping, or talking, or something is working, so that times the activity of the bodies, that moment is you have this feeling coming, and then how you control. That times you need to recognize that's the illusion. The three spheres, object, subject, and active itself are. Nature is emptiness, but appearances like illusion. Totally same like dream. Then you have less suffering and less problems will be experienced. Completely, if you recognize the three spheres appearances totally same like dream, then you totally freedom from the suffering, the obstacles. If you later understand about later experience of these three spheres like illusion, then you have later chance to, you later suffering and later obstacles can. If you have completely lack about these recognitions, if completely you trust that is real, you view to real, and then completely you have problem. So like dream, if you completely couldn't recognize dream as dream, then completely you have full suffering when you lost your child in the dream. For example, if you have later doubt, maybe that's dream, maybe not, or maybe dream, then you have less suffering. Completely you have recognized that is dream, 100% sure, then 100% you have free from the suffering of death of your child in the dream. So that's very, very true. So to say them as deceptions is the practice of a Bodhisattva. Otherwise, the problems with ordinary people, small problem, we generate a very big way. Because we too much focus on this, we too much to view to the true. That is true. That's true. That is my problems. That's only problems on this earth. The nature of feeling is your problem is only the one of this earth. The problems. Small things make very big. Generation into very big, increasing very big. So this is the problem. Then very much they believe. These problems once appear there, you feel at the moment that is unchangeable, something undistractable. My problems, something it looks like nature feeling, No, unless even if you can't understand that is like illusion, but at least you must be to remember that is impermanence, impermanent. So today has happened, but tomorrow will be exhaustion because impermanence. Then you have less suffering, isn't it? But if you feel that what happened today, that is whole your life, and you feel focused, then you are suffering very much, It's panic, worry, very pain. Of course, if you understand illusions, then it's completely. But even not, but let it, to understand the impermanence, still very helpful. But ordinary, so always something's happened, the problem, then that's holding to the permanent way. That is very, it's a big problem. Only this is one of these world, problems. So then it's real, you feel this coming. Hard to bear. So to see them, okay, so it's the practice of Bodhisattva. and go to one more verse. And okay, so this now we the main outlines, the root outlines. We have I mentioned you before the actual teaching, the preliminary part of Bodhisattvas, and the aspect of the actual part of Bodhisattvas, and the practice, the conclusion practice. So we have gone these first two. So now going to the next stage is on the third, the last outlines, which is the conclusion practice of the path Bodhisattvas. So now this conclusion, the practice, again, we can divide into this two difference. One is the okay, there's I think it's two difference. So the first part, now we're going here, is the conclusion practice with the 6 perfections. So the 6 perfections. So which is the perfection of generosity, perfection of moral conduct, perfection of patience or the diligence, and the perfection of meditation concentrations, the perfect of effort, perfect of meditation concentrations, and the perfect of wisdom. That is the 6 perfections. So we now is from the 25th verse to explanations, the perfection of generosity. So let's now check how going to practice during the conclusion practice of part of Bodhisattvas with the perfection of generosity. If those who aspire to enlightenment willingly give up their bodies, what need is there to mention external object? Therefore, with no hope of revolt or benefit, to give with generosity is the practice of Bodhisattva. So, if those aspire, because if because those men is the Bodhisattva practitioners, your main motivation, you want to become enlightenment, because for benefit each others, or particularly benefit to other sentient beings. That is our wish, or aim, or our purpose, or final purpose, or final goal, that is willingly give up. So therefore, in this wish, how can you to achievement this purpose? Because you had already commitment of bodhicitta mind. You have already cultivated or the bodhicitta mind for achievement Buddhahood, benefit sentient beings. That is our commitment. That is our promise. Since beginning of enter into the path of Mahayana. So now, how can fulfill your wish? How can achievement your purpose? Depend your cause and conditions to complete. So what is the cause and conditions of this purpose? 2 collections. We need 2 collection of merits, and we need 2 collection of wisdom. If you lack one of these 2, and then you cannot achievement automatically and causelessly of your purpose of Buddhahood, benefit sentient beings. So we must start cultivating on the positive actions of merits and the wisdom. We need to collect of wisdom. So, and therefore is the generosity, the collection of the perfection of generosity is as one method for collection of merits. The generosity. Because the attachment is the root of samsara. The craving is the root of samsara. So we need to avoid the object of attachment. But the object of the attachment is actually comes from the root. Root is from self-grasping or self-cherishing. We are attachment to the one's own body, my body, So Therefore, even in the end, if you have power, if you have courage and pure motivation, if necessary, and then should be to give, to be generation to your body, even one's own body, even. Therefore, of course, here there says, what need is there to mention external object, like normal small things, food, cloth, money, horse, cars, or something like these kinds, of course, there's no need to ask to need to collection of generosity, even if necessary, and then we must be generate of your in the giving of your, must be to give of your body, even the part of your body. The end, the completion of the generation stage, so in this way, but actually to offer our body or the organs of our body, the life, our life to offer to others, the limbs of our body to offer, that is not like that easy much, not much like that easy. So therefore you need to depend on your perception and depend on your stages, which levels of your qualities. If you are haven't yet, even you are Mahayana Buddhist practitioner, but your level is not yet achievement such qualities to give your bodies, and then if you give your body, still is false. If not on the term is yet, and then still if you start to give, because moment you have very courage is very high, your confidence is very high, so your compassion is very strong. So therefore you try to give, share your body. But if you are not yet on the level of the stages to giving your body, and they're too early, and then it's dangerous still. That's not the right time. That means is, then is you will be disappointed after you give your life, or after you give your part of your body or the organs of your body. Then you will be disappointed because you have very pain, and then you will be very weak because you have missing one part of your body. And then because very beginning you have not feel that, only is feel compassion and courage, and then you decide it, and then cut your legs or the arms or something, and then is you will be suffering very pain, not only but as then is weeks, months, years on your life is problem very much if you have without arms or the legs. And then gradually you have maybe very sadness is coming, maybe disappointed mind is coming for this action, maybe you have will be regret about this active. That is very dangerous, because then you start to lose your main promise and your Bodhisattva's vow. Very beginning very nice, but the end you will be disappointed about this problem, and then is that times is you lose your Bodhisattva's path. That is why if not yet on the time, the level is not, then it's too early, and that's the danger. So know when is exactly on time, when you completely freedom from the attachment of your body. You completely free the self-cherishings. Only your heart is a full attitude benefit to others, and on top you have your wisdom mind to realization, selflessness of a person. That moment you should be give your body if necessary to somebody. You should be, because this is the end, the completion stage of the generosity. The end of the completion stage generosity is the first bhumi. When you achievement the first bhumi, that moment you can be completed the collection merits with generosity. So because you can, but not only you can, but you like this, but you very satisfaction after give your life or your part of body to others, and you have more satisfaction because have no self-cherishing, have no self-grasping. But if yet not achievement this kind of quality levels, if earlier to give your body, and then maybe it's problem sometimes, So, but generosity is Bodhisattva's path, so you must be start right now, but you start from simple things to giving simple things. So therefore we say the object of generosity, we can division into the three different aspects. The object of material, the object of dharma, and the object of to give the protection of the fear, the refuge of fear. So the first one, to giving the object of material. So materiality, again we can division into the three. The last one is we're talking here, giving a part of body, but that's a heart. So therefore, first you can start very small things like one flowers, or unsangle the one sangle of the one of the incense, or one water, the glass the full of glass of water or something. Start. Even that not easy very beginning, and then says as a Bodhisattvas part, when you start to generosity, some things of your precious things you keep on your right hand and try to give to your left hand. From left hand to give into your right hand. Just very beginning how start to giving and generosity. And then try to give some things, simple things to your parents, your children, your husband, your wife, your friend, because more easy than to other people. If that going well, then try to simple things and to generous to the other people. Start from simple things. And this going well, then try to little bit more expensive things. So they have many levels, the generosity. And the end even is your life, on your body, Your member of family, your children, so forth. When you have very strong grow up, your compassion, love, and wisdom, mandis. Anyway, this is the one, the external materiality object to giving. And the dharma, the giving of the fear, the refuge of fear, that means it is as much you can to protect, to give the protections to the fear of other people, sick, ill, obstacles, or the death extra. Even its beginning, start to releasing small insect to sip from the death. And then is later it grow up your this compassion and love to save others' life, to give the protection to fear of the death of a small insect. And then is try to give the fear of the life from like the animals, chickens, pigs, snakes, or something, fish, so forth, to pay a little bit of your money to save others' life and releasing these animals. That is giving the refuge object of the fear of death. Or try to support the medical activities to the sickness peoples, illness peoples as much you can, for example. This all is the refuge, the giving object of the protection of fear, object of refuge of the fear, to give others the generosity. It's a very, very virtuous. The chance for collection merits and purification is very powerful. That's the kind of one. Sometimes people say the releasing animals, but depend your motivation. You really have compassion and love from deep your heart. You really want to save these animals or these sentient beings, something going to die. Then no matter you can completely can protect he or her life, whole life or not, that is not the case. The point is at the moment is what is your motivation. At the moment, how can you give them the fear of death? How can you releasing these beings of going to die? That moment you completed your collection merits with the releasing or the protection to give the others life. But we never know what happened next year. But sometimes people says, oh, save many fish or something, then you leave the river and then again other they catch. Of course, even you yourself don't know when you coming somebody kill you. How you know this fish when will die. But today you know you have the power to save this. And they want to save at the moments, Even somebody requests to you, if somebody you're going to in the jail and they to kill you, and then you request to the queens or president or the ministers, please may I save in this moment because I'm in danger. But you can say the queen or the queen, can you save me whole of my life? So who can guarantee? Even the king cannot guarantee you as a whole your life is can protect. But the moment he can guarantee you as freedom from the jail, isn't it? But look, let it be thinking the logic. Because people are talking too much, they have themselves have not this activity, but other people going this kind, but they're jealous. Unfortunately, maybe not jealous, but I don't know, but looks like, isn't it? Anyway, it's not really logical. Even not that is jealous, but not logical. That's not necessarily said that, Can save one day, and that is self. Can save these beings for protect for 1 week is 1 week, for 1 month, 1 month. You can say your problems. Somebody help you, but that not means I need to help whole my life. But even can help one day, you're happy, enjoy, isn't it? So, anyway, so however, that's the giving generosity of the protection of the fear, of death, giving. And then the last, the generosity of the Dharma generosity, Dharma giving, Dharma teaching. That is particularly from the ordained monks, nuns, or the war holders of Dharma practitioners, special of the fully ordained monk and nuns. Not all the monks, nuns can easily to give Dharma, but some have the high degrees, achievement state of the, so then they can, their generosity giving the Dharma to others with the pure motivation, of course, But even it's normal, the lay practitioners can some protect the Dharma, can support the Dharma teaching, can support to the Dharma text, for example, and can organizing Dharma teachings, for example. That all is the same representing to giving Dharma. So this to giving Dharma is the, if you could be of a support to the giving Dharma generous, that is most of precious one chance to collection merits. Then of these three different, the another two, first two. So Dharma. Because giving Dharma protections not only protect to the moment, the temporary fear and temporary suffering, but on top, Dharma can lead towards to the nirvana. Dharma teachings can lead as a freedom from the samsara at all of suffering of samsara, and will be achievement completely the ultimate peace and happiness. That is why as Dharma generosity, Dharma giving is the most of the precious one. Then even to give the protection of life, the death of life, save life, still is Dharma is more powerful, more helpful, the logically, Anyway, that's generosity, see. So, anyway, that is the first perfection of generosity of these 6 perfections. So, the Bodhisattva practitioners, of course, must be try, sense with even small tiny things to give, without any hesitations, only compassion, love to support to the sentient beings. That is a chance for collection merits, one chance, one opportunity. Okay, so anybody, you have any questions? So we have later minutes for question answers.
First you talk about how the conventional bodhicitta, how to practice with that, and then ultimate bodhicitta. But I think maybe I misunderstand. Is it so before you enter the path of seeing, you only practice one way, and then after you gain ultimate bodhicitta, you practice the other way? Or can you practice both ways the entire way? You should be practice both. Very beginning, conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. So, bodhicitta, we can divide into, there's 2 different stages, which is engagement bodhicitta mind and aspiration bodhicitta mind. So the firstly, if we need to under the part of aspiration bodhicitta. Aspiration bodhicitta mind means is we need to promise, we need to cultivating mind of enlightenment, which means we want to benefit, I want to benefit all mother sentient beings emptying samsara. Therefore, as soon may I achievement state of Buddhahood, the promise from the deeply, that is aspiration bodhicitta mind. So aspiration bodhicitta mind is particularly the aspect of
aspiration bodhicitta mind is a focus on the result as Buddhahood, then benefit to sentient beings. That is the commitment, focus on the result. Aspiration bodhicitta mind. And then is the engagement bodhicitta mind is mainly aspect focus on the causes of the result. So say I promise, start, it's cultivating of the I start to collection merits, I start to collection wisdom for achievement purpose, my aspiration bodhicitta. That is second aspect of promise. Both is promise, but first is aspiration promise the bodhicitta mind for the result, and the second is the aspiration bodhicitta, the engagement bodhicitta focus on the causes. So both are promised. One is I achievement Buddhahood for benefit sentient being. This is the first one. Second, therefore, they promise I try now collection merits and wisdom, the cause for purpose. Anyway, that is the bodhicitta, generated mind of enlightenment with both two aspects. So, and then we need to practice, start. So therefore, now also what you can do very beginning, the pure one, possibilities, the conventional bodhicitta practice is because we are ordinary, so we can conventionally practice about such bodhicitta mind, but we cannot practice the actual ultimate bodhicitta I mentioned you because you have not yet a realization selflessness self and phenomena. We still have self-grasping, but does not mean that you cannot practice any kind of the ultimate bodhicitta. Still you can, you should be. That means I mentioned to you today the generality meaning of the ultimate bodhicitta. For example, hearing wisdom, contemplation wisdom practice with, and meditation wisdom about the generality of the ultimate bodhicitta. That we can talk, we can listen, we can learning, we can studying, we can practice. But we cannot at the moments the actual ultimate bodhicitta because we are ordinary still. But these courses will bring the result of the ultimate bodhicitta is coming. So like this way, how going the practice of bodhicitta. So we're going now dedication prayers. Shirgan Nanchi Parlo Truba Sabian Sole Drawaya Dorwar Show and Didaya Tusa Derwaya Gerza Chirne Samba Majurya Semche Tamche La Sanje Tobi Jungo Jamper Pao Chetar Anjemba Kundu Sambo Tea Tepje Dedan Guanji Jis Dalo Gewa Dedan Tamje Ramde Tusa Shambi Jarwa Tamje Ngowa Kanla Shonde Ngamba Dagin Geve Tsawa De Kunja Zambo Shushin Rabdang Over Kunzan Dorje Chanje Manche
Trenche Save Lama Yanche Drove Donde Mono Ganda Pa Teda Tamche Doje Yandra Xie wa kundu yangdu lama zharme chunyi parla longshu jiang sada lamji yonde ramzo Dorje Changa Kompare Anyerdo